Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. JC here with another video on Action Taimanin. Today we're gonna be checking how to use Lapis. But before we start, don't forget to leave a like, share and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. Also, comment what are your thoughts on Lapis. She is versatile to say the least. She has like two main roles that she can fulfill, maybe three, depending on how you see it. But she's strong, yet balanced. So let's see what Lapis has to offer. First of all, Lapis is going to be a Protect Demon character. These two are two excellent traits, very easy to support. Mine is 83, level 83. I will soon-ish, I need to save some money, but get the medals, emblems to awaken her so that I can reach max level with a pack. And let's see. So what can we see about her? She has high HP, high attack, low defense, and medium critical rate. She is going to deal a ton of damage, and she can easily crit with green and red, but blue is a different story. You need to be using critical rate Magatamas, you need to be using enchanted weapons, you need a ton of things so that she crits consistently. So, as usual, let's start by analyzing those skills. First we have Stonebreaker. Stonebreaker is a range hold attack that is going to perform an air attack in front of her. It says strike the ground with the weapon to conjure gems that perform an air attack in front. This is going to activate on two supporters. With 2 green, is going to conjure 2 additional streams of gems. I haven't seen that, but I guess that would be kind of a cone. Then, with 2 blue, stun the enemy, and with 2 red, make the enemy groggy. I haven't seen it because I haven't used it. This isn't that great of a skill. It is a damaging option, especially good for mixed builds if you're not going to use the all color, one color skills. So yeah, I would say that the best one is definitely the green one. The other two are good for PvP, but that's about it. Let's see. Then we have Skydance. Skydance is a melee attack. It's a hold debate. Advance while rotating the weapon and performs an area attack around you. This is strong. This is really, really, really strong. The AoE is big. It has I don't want to say long duration. It's kind of not short, not long. It lasts just enough for the enemies to gather and that you deal damage on the second strike if they are not in front of you. So it is good. It's the all red skill, and with 1 red, reduce enemy damage by 10% for 10 seconds. Usually this effect would be horrible, but Lapis can fulfill as a tank, so getting damage reduction onto the enemy is appreciated. Then, increases attack range by 30%. Yeah, you can definitely feel that attack range increase when using this skill. It's amazing. And the last one, increase critical damage by 250%. That's great. You know that when red crits, it's gonna be a ton of damage. Now, Comet Spear. Comet Spear is the basic enhancer. It says enhances normal attack and launches additional attacks by firing a gem spread ahead. With 1 supporter, increases speed of normal attacks by 5%. With 2 supporters, increases the speed of normal attacks by an additional 10%. And with 3 supporters, increases particle charge amount by 50%. So this skill is good, but you have to be careful when you use it. Lapis doesn't have great super armor in most of her skills and most of her attacks. She has super armor, or at least enough super armor on the right attacks. So, for example, Skydance is not going to be interrupted, but Comet Spear definitely is going to be interrupted if you're facing someone with super armor. If you're facing multiple enemies, you don't want to use this skill. If you're facing one big, slow enemy, then you can use this no problem. You can also do a strategy of run and hit with this skill, and it's okay. But I really suggest that you be careful when you decide to use Comet Spear. Then we have Piercing Dash. Piercing Dash is a melee attack, it's a dash attack as you can see. Advance forward and performs a thrusting charge attack. So this works with the main. With 2 green, conjures 2 gem spears besides you, so it's gonna do 3 hits. With 1 blue, the main blue is going to restore HP by 5% of the damage dealt. That's great, that is probably the best effect this one has. And with 1 red, reduces the enemy's damage by 10% for 5 seconds. Again, the damage reduction is appreciated, it works, it synergizes with the kind of gameplay that she's gonna do. So even though it's not the best debuff, it works for her. That's what matters. Then we have Gem's Support. It's a range attack, and it says during extreme dodge, conjure a blue gem that continually restore HP of allies around it. I gotta admit, I think the AoE of this skill is shorter than it seems. Consider this: the enemies, the stage sometimes is way too big, so as long as the enemy is in front of that of the gem, then you're gonna be healing yourself. But if they start to move around, this skill is not gonna be that useful. So it depends on who you're facing. For example, for Machine BR this is nice. For Masked Taimanin is somewhat nice because of the stage, but if the stage was bigger, it wouldn't be that good. In fact, for Masked Taimanin on tower, I don't think this skill is that good. So, what are the set effects? With 2 blue, the gem attack enemies automatically. That's okay, I mean, it's another way to deal damage, and it's appreciated. With 2 blue, increases HP restoration about by 100%, which is usable, definitely. And with 2 red, decreases the delay of HP restoration by 40%, which is also very good. Now, Gem Spear Shower. This is the all green skill. It's a range attack, it's a hold the bait, and it says several gem spears conjure in the air, strike enemies from above, performing an area attack. 1 green increases damage by 10% for 10 seconds. This, as usual, a damage increase is very good, especially on this skill. Adds 2 additional gem spears if you have 2 green, and with 3 green increases the skill damage by 150%. So this is strong, really strong. The red and green, if you go full damage, are absurd. They melted Edwin when I was testing it. So yeah, they are good. Comet Strike. Comet Strike is the launching attack, and though it is better than most launching attacks, it's still a launching attack. So why is it better? Because it falls very fast, so you don't have to be in there, but you can be interrupted as usual. The enemy with super armor won't be launched, so yeah, it has the normal flaws of a launching attack, but the speed the speed that you have after you reach the end of the jump it's very good. The speed you go down with, and it has a good amount of multi-hit, so it's mid going to bad, you know. Let's see. So during normal attack, hold attack, conjures a gem under your feet, jumps from the gem, and performs a falling attack. This works as usual with 1 of each color. Increases skill damage with green by 25%, reduces skill cooldown by 20% with blue, and reduces enemy damage by 10% for 10 seconds with red. So yeah, I do not recommend you use this. The effects are usable. The kind of attack that it is, the animation, it's just not ideal. They should really drop this stuff. Like, just go for other things like Psychas. Then we have Spear Barrage. Spear Barrage is a range attack. It's a hold attack, and it says conjure numerous spears over the head of the enemies and continuously attack them. This is going to track the enemy, which is good. If they move, the spears are going to go after the enemy. With 1 blue, increases the defense by 10% for 10 seconds. With 2 blue, increases attack durations by 1 second. And with 3 blue, increases critical rate by 50%. So, things to take into consideration. Since it's a range attack, the critical rate is actually good because there are critical damage blue supporters and critical rate blue supporters. So, it is very nice to have this. Then, another thing to take into consideration. Blue is the color for defensive builds, so getting a defense increase is really good on this skill. I know it seems like a damaging skill that doesn't have an effect that synergizes with it, but it works. Blue is the best color for any defensive. As you can see with Piercing Dash, you're gonna restore HP, so you just go blue defensive. Then, we have Moral Boost. Moral Boost is the 3-color skill. It's a range attack. It's a double dash. And it says plants a flag on the ground that deals an area attack. Increases the defense of allies around the flag by 20% for 10 seconds. The area effect increases when slot effects are applied. So, you're gonna make an area that is going to increase your defense, and it's also going to buff in another way. This is an area attack, but in green, if you're using a green build or a blue build, this is not a damaging skill, it's a supporting skill. So, what does green and blue do? The flag increases ally attack instead of defense by 20%. So, that's good. It's an attack buff, an area attack buff. That's really nice. And with blue, allies defense additional increase by 10%. So it's going to increase your allies defense by another 10%. So this skill you only want to use in BR if you're using green or blue. I tried one weird combo in blue with Crystallize and Moral Boost, but it wasn't worth it. It really made the game, the runs really slow, so it's not worth it to use it. Then, when you use it on red, adds 2 additional attacks. When you use it on red, this isn't a supportive skill, but a actually really good AoE attack that deals a ton of damage. You definitely want to use this if you're facing, even without multiple enemies, it's a really good attack on red. I know, it sounds super weird that this is supported and then it becomes a damaging attack, but it works, it's really nice. Last we have the Awakening skill, which is Crystallize. It's a range attack and it's a counter. We're gonna call it a counter attack, even though it's not exactly a counter. So, it says, when doing an instant dodge, immediately after enemy attack. When doing an instant dodge, HP is restored over time for 4 seconds. The duration is short, as you can see. And nearby enemies are knocked back, slowing them down by 10% and gain super armor. Pressing the attack or dodge button while using the skill will cancel it. So, after you get hit, you use dodge, and then you're gonna crystallize, as it says. You literally get inside a crystal. You are going to receive hits, yes, and you can receive damage, yes, But that's not that big of a deal if you go defensive. And if you don't want to recover HP, you don't care about recovering HP, and you want to go with something like, if you want to just gain the buff that the set effects are going to give you, that's fine. The super armor is important. The super armor is not a buff applied to you, at least not in the... Like, how can I say it? When you get out of the Crystallize, you're not going to have super armor. You have super armor while you're Crystallize. So basically you cannot move. It is weird, yes. But the buffs are really worth it. And if you don't want to recover HP, you just can push attack or dodge and you're going to break the crystal. And it deals damage, that's okay. And the buffs are really good. This skill seems like awkward at first, but it's actually a key component to many of the builds that I prepare for this one. So, with 2 green, increases damage by 20% for 10 seconds. It's an attack buff. In this case, you usually want to burst the crystal immediately so that you can take advantage of the damage buff as soon as it activates. Then, if you use 2 blue, increase the defense by 20% for 10 seconds. You can do 2 things. You can burst the crystal and start attacking and keep that buff, or you can stay in place and you're going to heal and they're going to deal less damage to you while you heal. So eventually you will recover HP, it's no problem. Then on 2 red increases the HP restoration amount. If you go red, you don't want to break the crystal. You want it to break naturally. Okay? Which is awkward. You really need to be very conscious about when you use this skill. Because if you button mash, if you're very fast, then you're gonna break the crystal and you're not gonna get benefit from the red effect. So yeah. Talking about weapons, she has the Valle Scepter, which is very good. It is excellent for beginners, but eventually you're gonna replace that with Arachne's Spectre. So yeah. She can also use any of Shironoi's weapons, but they are bit 6 for the most part, with the exception of course, the rebellious weapon, the Momochi weapon, which is good for critical builds, which she is really good for critical builds. And there's also this, I got it with a ticket, it's super weird, but Scepter of Mastema. Scepter of Mastema increases damage dealt with skills by 13%, that's gonna be 26% when maxed out, and deals damage and knocks back the enemy. The active is not that good, but the passive is usable. Yeah, usable is the word. So yeah, let's check what she can do. I didn't prepare that many builds. I have been testing her, but I know exactly what we can do with her. So let's see. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Am I on 100? Yeah. So very quickly, let's do this. We're gonna start with blue. I'm going to be using the same weapon and supporter all the time. Unfortunately, my Arachne's Scepter here, it's only S3, as you can see. It's +9, so I'm not getting the most damage out of this weapon, but it's what I got. Then we have the Momochi weapon, that is +15, 5 out of 5. I mean, I have been playing for a long time, so eventually I got some copies of this. And we're gonna use critical Megatamas to increase damage because we're facing multiple enemies of different traits and we're using whatever Megatamas on the back. So let's see. Other than that, another thing I almost forgot. Lapis has, as you can see, a leader skill called Devotion. It says, when deployed simultaneously with other characters, Other characters will recover 50% of the HP recovery amount that Lapis receives from her own skills. HP recovered by Lapis with her own skills, I guess. So one thing to take into consideration, you cannot make a loop because it says own skills. If she recovers HP with I don't know, the healing area of Emily, that's not going to heal the other characters, or at least that's what this says. We'll have to test that. And look at these numbers. I haven't upgraded my ultimate, and I'm still working on my defense, but this should be more than enough. Now, let's see. We're gonna be using Lapis, the limited support for character release for Lapis. This because, I mean, the speed increase is nice, but I also wanted the damage reduction. I'm not sure if it works or not, but between that, it's only the speed basically. There's also the fact that I could use the basic attack enhancer, which her normal basics are usable. They are not bad, they are not good, they're just okay. Then I'm using Onisaki Kirara and I'm using Lilim. I could change this for a better supporter in the form of Nana. Or even Sakuya, yeah, Sakuya. But truth be told, I don't need it. I don't need the damage reduction right now. And I want to be a little bit more aggressive. I'm going to be using the Spear Barrage, which is a hold attack. You already know it. And I'm going to be using Piercing Dash to gain HP and Crystallize to gain defense. I think this should be more than enough. I want to go aggressive. So yeah, let's see. I already beat this with this build, this floor with this build. But I'm not sure how this is gonna go. Let's hope for the best, because the very last part, it's kind of difficult. And we want to gather the enemies. With Lapis, you always want to gather the enemies if you're going to go offensive. Another thing, when you go on BR, there's kind of only one skill set that you want to use. It is weird. I mean, you can use whatever you want, but using the healing crystal along with crystallization and what was the other one? Ah, yeah, the morale boost. Those are the skills that you want to use. So yeah. Okay, almost done with the mobs. As you can see, she's good against the mobs, but Edwin, on the other hand, it's a little bit more difficult. What's the advantage about using her? No, about using her supporter against Edwin, that you can teleport wherever he is. Oh, no, 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 no. Here. I'm gonna keep my ultimate just to receive the other enemies with that damage so that I can beat them quickly. Oh, come on, no. Well, that depends on how fast I can deal with this guy. Let's see. Oh, no. Nice. Yeah, as you can see, HP is not going to be a problem right now. It is on the last part that it becomes a problem. As I mentioned, her defenses are not that great. They are... She has a ton of HP, but to balance that, she doesn't have that much defense. But you can easily equip supporters and Magatamas to make her really, really tanky. You don't need HP at all. Just damage reduction. Okay. So now, the first thing that I'm going to do is use my ulti. And after the ulti, I'm going to reposition myself, charge, and release. Okay. I have confusion, so reposition, charge. Good that I have a big amount of damage so that I can recover HP with the thirst. Yeah, as you can see, I'm not using crystallization as you would usually use it, that you stay in the crystal, because I want to take advantage of the... Oh, there, come on. Of the defense buff to reduce damage while I attack. Come on. Oof, close. Yeah, I am like having troubles because I'm not using damage reduction supporters, but you can equip damage reduction supporters. Nana and Sakuya are very good for that. Okay, nice. Almost done. I'm just missing that wing. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna use my ultimate. Even though it's not enhanced, it still deals damage, so it's okay. Yeah, so this is the blue build that I have, but you can do other things. Let's say that you don't have a good amount of damage. I'm not going to test it and I'm not going to show it to you because that would take a lot of time. If I didn't have good damaging supports like Kirara and Lapis, I would be using something more defensive. For example, Akina along with Nana, which is the one that gives me the most defense. And let's say that you don't have Lilim. Instead, Lilim you want it on the active, by the way, if possible, depending on what you have. You can use Sakura because it gives you, if you have the pack, it gives you 26% damage reduction. Or you can use Sakuya. That's also good. So if I was going with this kind of build, I actually don't want something like Piercing Dash, because I'm not going to deal that much damage depending on my equipment. But the supporters are not increasing my damage. So what do I want? I want to change that for gem support. Crystallization, it's even more viable and you don't have to break it now. This is a good way to recover HP. And let's see. You can keep Spear Barrage. What's the problem with this? It's going to take a very long time for you to actually beat the enemies, because this is a defensive build. I mean, if you don't have better damaging or aggressive supporters, you can go like this, but just be mindful of what kind of stage you're tackling. It's like you shouldn't be tackling tower with this kind of build. VR is okay, but it's gonna be a little bit different. Now, let's see. Now we're gonna go with green. God, green is busted. So, what are we using? We're using Crystallization because it's a free attack buff and we want it. We're using Gem Support because we need healing. And this is also going to attack, so that's going to chip away the super armor of the enemy. We really need the healing here. So, yeah. I mean, we can shred the enemy super quickly, but having the option to heal is super important. And we're using Gem Spear Shower. This is what's going to shred the enemy. You crystallize, then you use Gem Support, and then you use Spear Shower, while the enemy is being knockback or interrupted by gem support. You can also change Gem Spear Shower for Stone Breaker, yeah, or for Piercing Dash. I do not suggest you change Crystallization. If you're not level 81, you can change Crystallization for any of those two. Those are really good attacks. Moral Boost you don't want to use, Comet Strike you don't want to use, okay? With that in mind, let's see how busted she is, because she's really busted on green. Oh, the supporters is, if I'm not mistaken, Suruga, Kaoru, and Akane. The classic critical supporters. So we just have to charge and destroy everything. Come on, attack, attack, attack. There. So I have an attack buff. Yeah. I'm just going to do basics. The basics are slow-ish. If you get a speed buff, they're gonna be better. But they are not that bad. Now, the same. I want an attack buff. And you see how I destroyed everything that was in my path? It is really easy. Okay. Stop right there, you rascal. Just do an attack that I can evade. Okay, since you're not gonna do anything. Whew. And the good thing about having Akane on the main is that you can recover HP whenever you want. Like, right now I just use it and I recover HP. There. And I recover a little bit of HP while we wait. There. Super easy. I'm not going to use the ulti, I'm going to show you. This, the crystal, and now I reposition and I just destroy most of the enemies. Now I just kill the rest with this, and Oboro and Ingrid are down. The healing has a good enough area of effect. It's not busted, but it's just good enough so that you can like walk around evading the attacks of Edwin. So yeah, there we go. As you see, this is super strong. Let's see. As I mentioned, the other options are nice, but they are not as strong as this, obviously. If you don't have crystallization, you just can equip them. I do like crystallization because it's another way to recover HP when the enemy or the strongest enemy has the super armor down. You just get hit by a mob and then you recover HP. Now, the next one is going to be a build for Red. Red is just as disgustingly busted as green. So what? Oh yeah. Before I forget, here we can see the supporters. Yeah, the three critical supporters. If you were wondering about them, is the three critical supporters all plus 5. No, all S5. Now, what are we doing here? We're using a Sky Dance because this is the main damaging skill. We're using Moral Boost because it's busted as an attack. Really, really busted. And we're using Crystallization as a means to recover HP. You can also use Gem Support. It's also fine. Whichever you want to use is okay. Let's see. So, actually, I don't think I need it. It is just too busted with the damage. So, yeah. I'm gonna do it. So, for this, we're using Eleanor because we want to crit. We want to crit because Sky Dance has a critical damage increase. So, instead of using Eleanor, you can always use something like, I don't know, Anne Rose, for example. Anne Rose was F2P. So if you have any critical rate supporters, you can use them. Of course, in Shisa Demons, you can use Shirayuki. Depending on what you're facing, you can use Lina. What else? What else? I do not recommend that you use the supporters that increase damage against debuffed enemies. Yes, it actually works for red, but you don't want to rely on the attack reduction. So yeah, let's see. Of course, we're using Fuyutsuki because she's really, really strong, and Barretta because she synergizes with the crit strategy for red. So now let's check what we can do with the red one. I mean, it's kind of just use the red skill and destroy everything, along with the with the flag. Oh my god, the flag is busted. Just let them gather, and you see that this is, yeah, and evade. Yeah, the flag is really good. Come on. Like that. Oh, I got interrupted now. Well, anyways. Recover HP, recover HP, recover HP. Come on! Well, I'm not recovering that much HP. There we go, nice. I'm gonna try to get one hit from Edwin. Yeah. How does he have like 5 stacks of that? Of wit? Well. Yeah, you can change crystallization. Like, it works when there's one enemy and you're able to break the super armor. Nice. Just look at the damage. Okay, I'm gonna use the ultimate. I wanted the HP potion, but... Oh, come on. Nice HP recovery. Yeah, it is not the best, of course, but it works. If you prefer to go with... Well, it depends on the amount of enemies and the damage they deal. Because if they don't deal too much damage, it is fine to use crystallization. But if they can one-hit kill you, you prefer to do an evade and then restore HP. That's better. So yeah, it is viable. It didn't look that great, but it works. In the case of red, you could also go red defensive. But preferably you want to go red defensive in a different way. First of all, you can go red defensive against, let's say, machine, or who else? Human. Here. You can go red defensive against machine and human. Then you can use this one on the main, and you can use... there aren't many defensive options in red. That's the problem. Like, this one won't work. This one won't work. At least not unless you have the right team. So yeah, and you can use a damaging support at the very end, or you can... No, I know. If we wanted to go defensive, we would be using again either Major or Sharia. I'm gonna put Major here just for an example. You can also use Reduce damage taken from melee attacks by 30%. Reduce cooldown of the supporter. You can use this one if the enemy deals a ton of melee attacks. You can use, as I was saying, where's the other one? Yeah, here on the main, but Lilim on the sub. It will be something like this. Where is she? Where is she? Like this. Yeah, they would be. This would be a defensive strategy, but you have to inflict debuffs on the enemy. So you want this. You want to avoid moral boost and go with piercing dash, and instead of crystallization, which could work because you're reducing the attack, but it's preferable to use this one, gem support. This way you're gonna be defensive red, but I do not recommend defensive red, even though it's possible. It's still not that viable. We don't have that many variety for supporters, and you rely on something very niche. So yeah. We also have this one. This one is a mixed build. As I said, the strongest effect on piercing dash is probably the HP recovery. So what are we going to be doing? If you want to go mix, you want to go with Crystallize and Comet Spear and Piercing Dash. But this is to fight against one enemy. Is there something where I fight against one enemy? I think this is... No. Well, that's a problem. I don't think I can show you this one like properly. Let's see. Yeah, multiple enemies. Okay, I'm gonna go down, like way down, just to show exactly what you want to do. Like, no, where is the machine? The big machine. Yeah, this. This build is designed to fight one enemy. If they are slow and they are big, even better. This strategy is not going to work against multiple enemies because Lapis is easily interrupted. As you can see, she's really good to deal at dealing tons of damage. She can recover a big amount of HP. And she can destroy the enemies behind. But if she gets hit, she's going to be in trouble. That's why you want to fight against a big enemy. So that you can reposition yourself, avoid the attacks. Yeah. Unfortunately, we are not on a week for mass Taimanin. I could use this build against mass Taimanin because it's only one enemy. Especially if you go with a control strategy like slow or disarm. So yeah, do not use this build against multiple enemies. The basic attack is really weak against multiple enemies. It's easily interrupted, and you don't have enough defense with this. Here I'm using Kirara to increase my damage and have a blue supporter on the main. Of course, depending on what you're facing, you can use Arabelle, you can use, I don't know, Akina, you can use, if you buff yourself a lot, you can use Kana, you can use Lily, Sakuya or Nana if you need defense. And 2 green supporters in the form of Suruga and Kaoru. Yeah. Why are we doing this? Because we want the attack buff from Crystallization. I didn't show it here, but you get hit once, then you go out there and you just shred everything with Comet Spear. And whenever you are lacking HP, you're gonna use Piercing Dash. The other option is to use green on the main. Let's see, let's go with... I'm thinking, like, I wanted to use 2 green, but I don't want to use this. This has to be triple color. You want to go double green with this, definitely. Like, is there something that gets a benefit from... Kind of. There isn't anything that gets a benefit from going double green with something else. Like... Well, I can just put Nana for damage reduction. I'm using a melee attack and a range attack. So, yeah. We change this here. And what are we going to be doing here? We're trying to deal as much damage as possible by using Stone Break, along with Piercing Dash and Crystallization to increase my damage. And this is risky. I don't know if it's going to be able to beat this stage, because it doesn't have HP recovery. Yeah, this is more for event quest or daily quest. You're just dealing damage. You can use this as a main build for a main attacker in VR, yes, for Lapis as the main attacker in VR. But, I mean, that's not the role that you want to fulfill on VR. So keep that in mind. We're gonna see how far I can go with this build. Probably it won't be able to finish the stage, but I do want to test the red. So, yeah, as I thought, a cone, but... Well, the dash attack, it's really nice. I like it, actually. This I don't like. I do have HP recovery, but... Like... I have to be careful with it. Okay, maybe I can do it. Like, the third wave is the problem. So, the biggest advantage about using this is probably the AoE. The AoE of Stonebreaker is really good. And the damage dealt with Piercing Dash, it's great. So, they are kind of weird, but I do appreciate those skills in green. And one of the best things about using Stonebreaker, especially with this weapon, is that you're going to inflict defense down on the enemy. And I mean a ton of defense down. Oh, confusion! Stop! There. Nice. Yeah, I was prepared to go for him, then I was going backwards, then the confusion went away while I was running backwards. I need to stop doing that. I need to receive a hit and... Yeah, keep myself in place. Because I need the HP recovery. Come on. Oh, why won't you hit? Yeah, easy. Okay. Uh-oh. No, I don't want to receive one of those hits. They just deal the first hit and that's it. Come on. There. So what am I going to do? First I'm going to use my two skills. My two damaging skills. Well, all of them are damaging skills, but... Stone Break, then the dash, and... then the ultimate. Then the active, then the dash. Then the Stonebreaker. Then I'm going to go away for that potion. And I'm going to receive one hit. But not from a burrow. Okay, this somewhat worked. Though now I have slow. Stop, you evil thing. No, I'm not gonna be able to survive after another hit. Edwin is the only one. Ah, that's why I was trying to wait for... Oh! I swear I saw a potion disappear. Yeah, well, it was close-ish. But why do we want to use crystallization? If you want to go against a challenging stage, you're going to change crystallization, no question, for gem support. Because you need the HP recovery and you don't want to be exposed. But crystallization is going to give you a damage increase, and that's why you want to go aggressive with these two skills. Yeah, and now let's talk about VR. Because in VR, it is very different to use this character. I'm gonna do it on 41 and still testing. She's not at max level. So, we're gonna do this. Let's just start with the supporting character, which is gonna be Micah. Micah is going to deal a consistent amount of damage. The weapon is not gonna do anything because I'm on red. But it has 4 slots and good stats, so that's what I'm using it for. The same can be said about this one. Whatever, Magatamas. Not even UR. Let's go with UR. Machine. And whatever. So. And I don't have another electric Magatama. That's why I go with water. I'm using Death from Above, Ruthless Explosion, and Carpet Bombing. What a surprise. The busted skills. Yes. But why... What are we using here? Now that we have Fuyutsuki, we want to use Fuyutsuki on Machine VR with Micah because she's going to reach the cap of buffs very easily. We're also going to use Yukina because she gives a lot of damage. And we're going to use Susuna because she gives a lot of damage, she gives HP recovery, she snares the enemy, so that's good. So she's just a damage dealer that is going to be on the back. Then we have Lapis. We're going to let the AI take care of Lapis, since she's going to fulfill Felicia's role as a healer for the party. She wants to be able to deal damage, yes, but there's also another thing she can do. We're going to go full defensive. By reducing the damage from the machines, I'm going to be able to survive. And I'm going to be working with one of her biggest weaknesses. As you can see, the HP and the defense are kind of the same, which is good. That's what you want on Lapis. Then I'm going to be using... the weapons are exactly the same as before. But the Magatamas are defensive, as you can see. I'm gonna be using Pierce Dash to recover HP, not only for Lapis but also for other team members. Gem support, because since she doesn't have that much damage, it's important to use a skill that restores HP, not based on damage. And this one is just a way to... No. Moral boost. Moral boost because we want the defense increase, not only for Lapis, but also for the allies. It is really, really important. Of course, we're using Akina, Nana, and Sakuya. The defense reduction is super important, and getting another heal is gonna be great. So, the last thing that we have here is Momochinagi. I'm gonna be piloting Momochinagi because she is fragile. We already know what her limited supporter does, and we know that she can flop if she doesn't position herself correctly, and she doesn't have HP recovery unless she's on a full color build. This is a full color build, and I do have the HP recovery, but getting extra HP recovery is nice. So the weapon 5 out of 5 plus 15. The Magatamas are gonna be machine with wood element in case they hit me. 5 out of 5 plus 10, whatever Magatamas. Stormbringer, Momochi Sword Style, Storm Dance, 2 range attacks, and well, this is melee, but it has a huge amount of range, so yeah. And the last thing, we're gonna be using Momochi Nagi again. We're gonna be using Stella, and we're gonna use the other Momochi Nagi because we want to increase our defense a little. You could go with something different, like this time Major is a good option, but I don't have. I want to focus on the damage. So let's test how this team performs on floor 41. The build for Lapis is always going to be Crystallization, Moral Boost, and Crystal Support when you're using VR, the skill set. And the build can be, the supporters can be blue or green, depending on what you want to go for. So here, what I do is that I reposition myself. I use a Stormbringer and I attack. One of the biggest weakness of this strategy is if you have, if you're facing machines with with cooldown reduction. That is super dangerous. Nice. Reposition. The speed increase is nice. The defense is nice. The HP recovery is very, very nice. And I'm also going to use my ultimate. As you know, normally I wouldn't. But Nagi doesn't care about formalities or trying to beat anything herself. She does have HP recovery, but with her defenses, her natural defenses, she wants to take care of everything ASAP. Okay, there. Just one more, just one more. Ah! Nice. I use the active of the supporter. I use a Stormbringer. And there we go. As you can see, Lapis performs well. But what happens if we want to go green? Green, you want to use it if you want to go offensive. Or well, technically, if you want to go offensive. As I said, the skills are going to be the same. Gem support and crystallization. But you want to go mix, not pure green, because you do want this HP recovery. So what are we going to use instead? I think, no, Nana, even though Nana it's great, you don't want to put Nana on the main. The effect for Nana is really bad on the main. So we're gonna be using this. You can use Hebico, yes, because Maika is going to be debuffing the enemy. That's one thing. You can use this one, yes. If you want to go pure green, you can put this on the main. That's the problem. Like, green doesn't have many options for defense. Like, this is for anti-human, but this is machine. This would be good if I had Hebico. What can I use, guys? What can I use? Oh yeah, I got an extra copy of this one after I rolled, so I'll be using this, the Founding 3. And you can put whatever you want, since we're going to be relying on the HP recovery. I want to increase my damage on the HP recovery of Piercing Dash. Moral boost. Oh, no. Well, if you go mix, you want to change moral boost for something else. I do not suggest crystallization against the machines, definitely. Maybe something like this. But we will go then pure green, because we want to use moral boost. The question is who then? Uh-huh. Ah, yeah, definitely. No doubt. We'll use this. Moral boost. Piercing dash. Increased damage. Crystallization. I'm checking because all the skills are pretty bad, except for I guess piercing dash. Just because do I say they are bad? Because we're facing machines, and we don't want long animations against machines. We want something fast, and piercing dash is probably the best option here. So I'm just going to use this build. Everything is the same, yeah. So the build won't change regardless of the color if you're doing VR. So let's see how green looks. Green is gonna be way better at dealing damage, but you're gonna give up HP recovery. So you do want those defensive Magatamas. Oof, I have damage reduction with Nagi. I reposition myself. And nice. Come on, give me a flag. Give me a flag. I need that flag. So the HP recovery is nice. The flag. Why don't I have my skills up? There we go. Yeah, it's taking some effort because... Oh my god, no. Stop bullying Micah. It's taking some effort because I have damage reduction with my main attacker. But fortunately Micah is blue, so she's going to be able to deal some damage. There we go. Nice. Red is down. And... yeah, they have a skill cooldown reduction. Particle. When hit has a 20% chance, skill cooldown. Yeah, that's a big weakness for characters who have attacks with very long cooldowns. Because sometimes you won't be able to use it. Fortunately, the weapon for Nagi does enhance basic attacks, and that's really, really good. So yeah, we couldn't see it properly. I'm gonna do it one more time because I have damage reduction for assist. Let's see if I'm lucky here and I get a different kind of effect. Yeah, because the idea is that we see more output. Oh, come on. No, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna try it again. I do have the VP, so it's no problem. Come on, give me something that is not green. Let's see. Oh, why would you do that? It seems the game doesn't want me to show you how the damage looks when you don't have damage reduction. Come on, red and blue. Okay, that works. So, unfortunately, I think there's a skill damage cooldown increase, but... why do you put the flag so far away? Come on, put the flag. Yeah, for some reason she's not putting the flag. When she puts the flag whenever I don't have the Stormbringer. What's wrong with you? Well, In any case, hey, stop doing that. I don't want you to hit Lapis. There. At least I managed a couple of hits. So yeah. Obviously, Lappy is gonna be squishier with a green build. The superior option for VR is obviously going to be blue. It is not that it's not viable, it is just that, as you can see, her HP is down by a lot. And it depends on what you're fighting. For example, you can use, instead of piercing dash, you can use crystallization if you're fighting Queen Arachne. You don't want to use crystallization against Taimanin or the Machine VR. Machine VR because they have a lot of enemies, and and Taimanin because she deals a lot of damage by herself. So yeah, what do you think about Lapis? She's a good character. Let's just go back. As usual, before we finish, let's check her weapons. So Lapis. She's gonna be sharing weapons with Murasaki. This one, no, this is critical rate. The only SR that you want to use right now is Vaya Scepter. Vaya Scepter is super good for her if you're fighting against demons. But Vaya Scepter is going to be replaced by Arachne's Scepter. If you have Shikigiri, that's gonna be really good for her. But everything else is gonna be a bit stick for her. It would be the same as using an arena weapon. So try to use an arena weapon instead. We also have the character pack weapon, which is not that great. It looks good, but it's not that great. This halberd. And this one, the same as all the character release weapons, the gacha, the premium gacha weapons. They are okay, yet they are not busted. Whenever they released her own limited weapon, like a Shiranui's, she's gonna be way stronger. So just work with this if you have it, or whatever bit stick that you can get her. If you can use Arachne's Scepter, that's great if you're fighting demons. And the highlights for Lapis. Lapis is really good as a Taimanin character. She's really good as a healing machine for VR fights. Probably she's gonna be very viable for the PvP guilds system that is gonna be implemented. So start working on her if you like her. It is super important that you have ways to play defensive if you want to use her. You need to have Hisui, you need to have, I don't know, Nana, you need to have Hebiko, this Hebiko, or maybe Sakuya. If you don't have those, then it's gonna be rough, because her role is to survive and provide healing to the party. And she can provide healing without damaging the enemy by using gem support. So yeah, you do need the damage reduction. So yeah, that's about it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll be seeing you next time. Bye!